The NBA playoffs are the best time to be an NBA fan. Every game is more intense with more at stake. The real winners are separated from the losers. A new champion will be crowned. But what about all the teams getting knocked out early? What happens to the superstars falling short? What about the coaches? Who gets the blame, and who will be asking for a trade? While the players may get an early vacation in Cancun, the front offices will be working overtime, trying to find a way to improve the roster for next season. So, let the blame game begin and the drama unfold. Usually the first head on the chopping block on an underperforming team is the coach. It's an easy target to point to for disappointing shortcomings. Last year, the Bucks fired head coach Mike Budenholzer after a stunning first-round loss to the Miami Heat. He was replaced by Adrian Griffin, only to be fired halfway through the season despite the Bucks being 30-13 and second in the East. Last year, Doc Rivers was also fired by the 76ers after a disappointing third straight playoff exit, but he found a new home with the Bucks. This year, we already have 3 coaches fired after disappointing playoff losses. Frank Vogel was fired from the Suns, Darvin Ham from the Lakers, and J.B. Bickerstaff from the Cavs. There may be more on the chopping block as teams are knocked out of the playoffs and sent home packing. The coaching carousel continues to turn. Star players like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Giannis Antetokounmpo may be growing tired of disappointing seasons, falling short, and ask for a trade-out. Their patience may be running out. Powerhouse teams of the past like the Lakers and Warriors desperately have to sort out their roster if they want to have any chance of being in true contention again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is panic season for the NBA. And first, we have to start with the Lakers, because if your best player comes out to say this after losing 10 straight games to your rivals, then you know there's trouble.
I'm not a guy that you should ask that, because I don't feel a way about anybody that don't want to strive to be as close to perfect as possible. And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
But really, how bad were the Lakers this season? Winning 47 games, surviving the play-in tournament, and losing to the best team in the league in the first round of the playoffs shouldn't really feel like a bad season. But these are the Lakers, and they have LeBron, so the rules are different.
And depending on the night, it'll be him or Mason Plumlee that's the first big off the bench as LeBron throws it down.
The Lakers would have started the season hoping to win the championship, or at least get close enough. Instead, LeBron will be heading into his 7th year in LA with just 1 championship to boast about. The NBA star will also be 40 next year, and chances of the 39-year-old regressing next year is very high. How many years does he really have left? So, what's LeBron thinking right now?
I'm told LeBron is expected to play up to 2 more NBA seasons. So he just finished year 21. He's going to play at least 23, is from what I'm told. Potentially up to 23. He's got a $51.4 million player option. He could opt in.
The LeBron household has a very big summer ahead of them. On the 5th of May, 2024, Bronny James declared himself for the 2024 draft, meaning LeBron's dream of teaming up with his son in the NBA could become a reality. Now, this doesn't mean that Bronny will immediately get to play with his father. I mean, ESPN recently reported that finding Bronny the right system for his development is more of a priority for the family than getting LeBron and his son to play together. But what if there was an NBA team that could provide the right system for Bronny's development and still have enough cap space to fit LeBron into the whole thing? I could see many teams trying to lure in LeBron by drafting his son. It could be the Cavs. It's been exactly 10 years since LeBron made his decision to return to the Cavs. Bronny, who was just 9 years old at the time, will be going back to the city where he was born. Apart from the emotional pull, the Cavs could use the father and son. The Cavs might have managed to beat the Orlando Magic in the first round, but they're still a long way from becoming a championship-ready team. If they manage to land LeBron on board, Mitchell signs that extension and we could witness a fairy tale ending to the summer. But if a dream to return to the Cavs does not materialize, there are obviously many other teams that would love the idea of landing LeBron. The Heat, the 76ers, and the Warriors have all been teams with high interest. But are any of those teams actually realistic? What does LeBron really want? Is he chasing titles, or does he just want to chill in LA and grab another big check? The Sixers are a team with max cap space this summer, making them a very good option for LeBron and Bronny. A trio of Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and LeBron would be an insane trio. Besides, leaving a loaded West to Embiid to create a super team in a weaker conference will give LeBron the opportunity to preserve a lot of energy during the regular season and prioritize the playoffs. The Warriors tried to make a last-minute deadline trade for him earlier this season. I think he would have to really want to go to the Warriors for that to have any chance of happening. But Steph and LeBron will be together for the Olympics later this year. You never know what could happen there. Old guys run it back one last time and show these youngins they still got it. But we all know LeBron and his family really like it in LA. In addition to that, if LeBron decides to just decline his extension and sign a 2-year extension, the Lakers will offer him the most money, and he'll also get to live close to his friends and family. But in doing this, he'll be at the mercy of Anthony Davis's injury tendencies and the front office's poor recruitment strategies. LeBron will be thinking hard about his decision, but so will the Lakers. After all, they have a number of issues to sort out themselves. Ever since Phil Jackson retired after 2011, the Lakers have appointed 6 coaches, with none of them lasting more than 3 seasons, including the Frank Vogel who won them their only championship during that stretch. And guess what? The Lakers are currently without a head coach. Again. This happened after Darvin Ham was sacked by the front office following a successive loss to the Nuggets in the playoffs. And if there was one player in the Lakers team that was fully in support of that decision, it's this guy.
We've shown that we're more than capable. We have stretches where we just don't know what we're doing on both ends of the floor, and those are the ones that cost us. We got 2 days to get it right and come ready to win Game 3 Thursday.
Before Ham was shown the door by the front office, Anthony Davis had been outspoken about his lack of trust in their former manager and often ignored him during games. For instance, after a close 101-99 loss in Game 2 of the series, Davis was asked about the game, and the 6'10" power forward wasted no time throwing Darvin under the bus. With Darvin out of the door, the Lakers will look to hire between J.J. Redick and Dan Hurley. The Lakers will definitely find a coach before the end of the offseason, but whoever that turns out to be will have the most difficult job in the NBA on his hands. Okay, I know we're supposed to have moved on from this, but the truth is the Lakers have still not recovered from the Westbrook trade that saw them lose Kyle Kuzma and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 2 important rotational pieces from their 2020 championship team that could have been really helpful to them right now. If you add their decision to let Alex Caruso sign with the Bulls, then you have 3 missing quality players, 2 of whom could have helped sort most of their defensive issues this season. In addition to that, there have been rumors about the Lakers looking to sign Trae Young, but it's hard to see how he will solve the issues that have plagued the Lakers this season. Trae is a great asset offensively, but defensively, he will bring serious issues to a team with only one elite defender. Lots of questions for LeBron and the Lakers, but most likely we'll see him back in LA with a fat contract, maybe teamed up with his podcast mate J.J. Redick, and hopefully a couple more solid rotation players to fill out the roster.
Unbelievable! He got it to go! Unbelievable!
I want to win, plain and simple. Steph Curry. When the Warriors lost to the Kings back in April, it didn't just put a halt to their season, it hinted at something even more significant. That night was the earliest time since 2012 that a Curry-led team was eliminated from playoff contention. Between 2012 and now, the Warriors have gone on to win 4 NBA titles, building one of the greatest sports dynasties in history. But the thing with dynasties is that they reach the peak of power and after a while, they fall off. And right now, the Warriors appear to be at that crossroad. The trio of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green combined together to form one of the greatest trios of all time. And while they remain undeniably talented, these 3 icons are no longer the same players they used to be. Curry will turn 37, and you could see his age catching up with him towards the end of the season. Draymond is still elite, but just can't seem to stay on the court all season. Thompson has seen a noticeable decline in his game on both sides of the court, just a step or 2 slower, which is understandable with his age and past injuries. This may really be the beginning of the end for the Warriors dynasty. To complicate matters, the Warriors signed Draymond and Curry to lucrative long-term deals, leaving them with one of the highest bills in the league. They're smaller and older than the rest of the league. The Warriors' defense used to be a huge part of their identity, but it's no longer there. Their opponents have also figured out how to exploit their lack of rim protection and slower rotations. Finally, while there's no doubt about Curry's magic powers on the court, the Warriors' reliance on him has become predictable. Opponents have adjusted their defensive schemes, forcing Steph to work harder than ever before, throwing 2 or even 3 guys at him every night. To To make matters worse, Andrew Wiggins hasn't produced the scoring punch needed to ease pressure on the core players. So, what's the way forward for the Warriors?
I think we've got an off season of reflection and transition, but that doesn't mean this thing is over. This off season is going to be different. It's the first time I think that I've really felt like there needs to be, some change.
In 2020, the Warriors, in the midst of one of their worst seasons ever, acquired Wiggins from a Minnesota team that had given up on his star power. With the Warriors, he flourished. He had an incredible playoff run, ending in a championship for him and the Warriors. I think they need to look for something similar now, a potential forgotten star that a team is down on. Maybe someone like Zach LaVine on the Bulls. His relationship with the Bulls has soured. He also has a massive contract, so Joe would have to take that on as well. The pipe dreams for the Warriors would be a reunion with Kevin Durant. If he was actually really fed up with the situation in Phoenix, then maybe he would have to force his way out of there. But we've seen him do it before. And of course, it would be a dream to see LeBron next to Steph, but unfortunately, I think that will remain just a dream. Brandon Ingram, Lauri Markkanen, and DeJounte Murray are some other players the Warriors could look at. The Warriors also have a talented core of young players like Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Brandon Podziemski. They will all continue to improve over the offseason, but will it be enough? Right now, they suffer from too many just good players and not enough great. They need to consolidate the depth for another star, someone who can take on some of the offensive pressure next to Steph. The Warriors need to make a big swing this offseason to capitalize on the last few years with Steph playing at an elite level. Time is of the essence. The Phoenix Suns' descent from the top has been as swift as Christmas. In 2021, they made the NBA Finals for the first time in 10 years, but lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in a hard-fought battle. Their impressive 2021 season was followed with another stunning display in the regular season, where they finished with the best record before going on to drop one of the most shocking performances in playoff history. Ever since then, it's been the same story over and over again for the Suns. This season, even a young Timberwolves team knocked them out of the playoffs in the first round like an unwanted old toy. But there's even more bad news, because one of the Suns' stars is apparently unhappy with the lack of team success and wants out.
They say that he went more than a month without even talking to the head coach. They say that he doesn't look happy there.
Kevin Durant might be a 14-time All-Star, a 2-time NBA champ, and one of the greatest scorers the game has seen. But when it comes to commitment, KD can be shaky. In 2016, KD left Oklahoma City on bad terms for the Golden State Warriors. When he realized he was never going to get out of Curry's shadow, he forced himself out of the Warriors to team up with Kyrie Irving and James Harden on the Nets before demanding a trade and landing on with the Suns. News of KD feeling unhappy surely can't be a surprise again. It's a clockwork. The Suns have responded to their disappointing campaign by sacking their head coach Frank Vogel and bringing in Mike Budenholzer instead. While it's undeniable that the Suns needed to part ways with Frank Vogel, the appointment of Mike Budenholzer is equally a big gamble. Now, don't get me wrong, Budenholzer's a fantastic coach, but his system is heavily reliant on strong interior defense like Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Suns do not have any player like that on their roster. If Budenholzer is really the answer to the Suns' recent troubles, he'll need to adapt his system to unlock the firepower of Booker, KD, and Beal, while simultaneously addressing their defensive issues. And James Jones made it clear that the Suns will not be trading any of their big three superstars this summer. This means Budenholzer's success will depend on how he maximizes Jusuf Nurkic's potential on both ends of the court. If he can turn Nurkic into a defensive monster and an offensive threat, maybe the Suns could turn it around. But if he decides to play it safe by choosing a slower and more methodical approach, it could clash with the Suns' offensive identity. It seems like the future of the Suns rests in KD's mood of the day. I don't know if anyone really knows how he's really feeling. He definitely has the most value as a trade piece, so if he does force his way out of Phoenix, at least the Suns could retool with new assets. But this would mean Matt Ishbia would have to give up on his big three superstar dream team. Moving to the East, where the big star has been far more loyal, for 5 seasons under former coach Mike Budenholzer, the Bucks had an unstoppable defense. Yes, there was a slight dip in the 2021-22 season, but that's because Brook Lopez had a back injury that required surgery and forced him to miss most of the season. Other than that chink in their armor, the Bucks have had an almost impenetrable defense in the league. The Bucks were the league's best defense between 2018 to 2020, the 9th best defense in 2020 to 21, and the league's 4th best in 2023. This season, the Bucks' defense wasn't up to standards, and the team's chemistry was off, causing the front office to sack Adrian Griffin in January and appoint Doc Rivers as coach. Immediately, Doc Rivers took over. The Bucks' defense actually improved, but the team still managed to finish the regular season with the 19th best defensive rating in the league. While the Bucks' defensive struggles have been one of their major issues this season, blaming the defense alone for their slump would be unfair and silly. Back in 2023, Giannis was asked about his future on a podcast, and the Greek Freak told his audience that while he does love playing for the Bucks, he loves winning championships more. And given the Bucks' recent disappointing first-round playoff exit to the Pacers, many people have started to wonder if this is the summer the Greek Freak will take his talents elsewhere. He had the fan base scared the other day when he tweeted out this. The first part had fans sweating, but it seems Giannis will continue to remain loyal to the city and wants to run it back. Giannis and Dame will have another offseason together to perfect their pick-and-roll chemistry. The Bucks will have a chance to shore up some holes in the roster this offseason, maybe hoping to emulate what Dallas did this season. They scored a few more rotational players, and now look at them, playing in the finals. If they are able to hit on a few players around the dynamic offensive duo, the Bucks might be able to push for a championship. If not, the Bucks might want to start thinking about what a life without Giannis would look like, because at the end of the day, the ring justifies the means. The pressure is on for the front offices of these teams. Who will rise and who will fall under the pressure? The NBA offseason is always a whirlwind of drama, rumors, and big moves. But this summer feels different. The league's landscape could be poised for a seismic shift. LeBron James, the ageless wonder, has a monumental decision to make that could reshape multiple franchises. Will he chase one final championship run with his son Bronny by his side, or will the allure of big money and the LA lifestyle keep him a Laker? The Warriors dynasty appears to be crumbling, with Steph Curry and company no longer the invisible force they once were. But you can never count them out from reloading and making another little push. One blockbuster trade could be all it takes to reignite their championship pedigree. In Phoenix, the Kevin Durant saga continues, the rumblings of his unhappiness threatening to derail the Suns' title aspirations once again. Can their new coach, Mike Budenholzer, be the stabilizing force this talented but volatile roster needs? And in Milwaukee, the clock is ticking on the Giannis Antetokounmpo era. The Greek Freak's pursuit of championships may eventually lead him to greatness elsewhere if the Bucks can't provide the right supporting cast. This offseason could bring chaos for some and success for others. Franchises will rise, players will fall, and legacies will be forever altered. The drama has only just begun.